Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have an easy wood project to share. This is a great project for beginners because it only requires a few straight cuts of wood. The sign is reversible, so you can use it as a fall decoration or for Halloween. I just love how it turned out, and I'm excited to show you how to make your own. For this project, you'll need wood for your pumpkin, and I used a piece of 8-inch pine and a piece of 4-inch pine, and I will put the details in the box below. You'll also need a 7/8 inch wooden dowel, adhesive vinyl, transfer tape, your weeding tool and scraper, paint and brushes, sandpaper, wood glue, twine, a drill and small bit, burlap leaves, wire jute cord, a hot glue gun and glue, and of course your Cricut, a cutting mat, and the cut file. So grab your supplies and head over to your computer. The first thing we need to do is grab the SVG file we'll be using for this project. You can get it for free on my blog at burtonavenue.com. I keep all the SVG files for these projects that I make and share in my free SVG library. These files will work with all kinds of cutting machines and they're free to everyone. Once you're on my site, just click on Free SVG Files and then Free SVG Library. You will need a password to get into the library, and there are instructions on the screen if you need to get one. Once you're in the library, you can search for the file Fall Pumpkin Signs. It will either be listed under the most recent projects and cut files or under the Fall category. You can also use your browser search to find it. I've added the unique code BA1701 after the file name to make finding this design a little bit easier. Once you found the file, go ahead and click on that link, and the files will be downloaded onto your computer. Now when you download these files online, they come in a zipped folder, and you'll need to unzip or extract them before you can use them in Cricut Design Space. To do this, you'll want to go to the location where downloaded files are saved onto your computer, and for me, that's on my desktop. Once you're there, look for that zipped folder that we just downloaded and double-click on it. A new window will open, and somewhere you should see the option to extract or unzip. Click on that, and another window will open up. And this will show you where on your computer these unzipped files will be saved. And you need to remember this location because you'll have to get to it once you're in Cricut Design Space. Now go ahead and click on the extract button, and those files will be unzipped and they're now ready to use in Design Space. So let's head over to Cricut Design Space and start a new project. Once you're on the Canvas screen, you can click on the Upload button, and then click on Upload Image, and then click on Browse. And now you'll want to go to that location where the unzipped files were saved onto your computer. Once you're inside of that unzipped folder, you'll see several different file types listed. And we need to use an SVG file for this project. But you'll notice there is not an SVG in this list of files. And that's because on my computer, SVG files show up as a Microsoft Edge HTML document. And I've also seen them show up as a Chrome HTML document. So if you don't see an SVG in this list of files, be sure to look for one of those instead. So select the SVG file and then click Open. Make sure it's the designs you want to work with, and then click Upload. Select the designs one more time and then click Insert Images. And now those designs will appear on your Canvas screen. So now we need to resize each of these designs so that they'll fit nicely on our little wooden sign. So the first thing we need to do is ungroup the designs. You'll notice right now they're both grouped together and I can't resize them individually. So to fix that, we just need to right click and choose Ungroup, and that will just break apart the designs. So the next thing that I'm going to do is create a rectangle that is the same size as the piece of wood that these designs will go on. So I'm going to go up here and unlock the padlock and put in the dimensions of my piece of wood. And my wood measures 8 inches wide by about 3.5 inches tall. So now this rectangle is the same size as my piece of wood. So we can click on Arrange and choose Send to Back, and that will just bring our designs in front of the rectangle. So now we can just drag on these arrows and resize the design so that it will fit on the piece of wood. So this design is about 6.5 inches wide. So we'll move that over here, and then we'll do the same thing with the pumpkin design. Okay, so that one is about 7.25 inches wide. So now we can delete the rectangle, and I am going to cut this design in black and this design in brown. So I don't need to change anything else with the designs. All that we need to do is attach the designs so that the letters will stay in the same order that we see on the screen. So we'll just right click and choose Attach on both of these designs. And that is all we need to do on the Canvas screen. So now we can click on the green Make It button. And then you'll be taken to this screen. And this will just show you what your designs are going to look like on the cutting mat. And you'll notice that Cricut automatically sorts the two designs onto two different cutting mats that coordinate with the colors we've chosen. So this first one will be cutting in black, and the second one will be cutting in brown. If everything looks good, you can click on the green Continue button. And once Design Space finds your Cricut, you'll be taken to this screen. Make sure that your dial is set to vinyl, and then you can go load your cutting mat. So place a piece of black vinyl on your cutting mat and smooth it out so there aren't any wrinkles or bubbles. Then load it into your Cricut by pressing the up and down arrow button. When your machine is ready to cut, you'll see the C button light up. Press that and the machine will begin cutting. When everything has been cut, you can press the up and down arrow button again to unload your mat. Remove the black vinyl from your cutting mat and place on a piece of brown vinyl. Then repeat those steps until everything has been cut. Remove the vinyl from your cutting mat and trim off any unused portion of the vinyl. Then weed away the excess vinyl. You can use your weeding tool to pull out any pieces left inside of those letters. Place a piece of transfer tape sticky side up on your work surface and then place the vinyl on top of that. Smooth it down and then rub firmly over both designs with your scraper. Then you can trim off the excess vinyl backing and transfer tape and cut apart the two designs. Now that our vinyl is ready to go, we're going to work on the wooden pumpkins. For the pumpkins, you'll need to cut a 16-inch, 14-inch, and 12-inch piece from a 1x8 piece of pine. You'll also need to cut a 16-inch, 14-inch, and 12-inch piece from a 1x4-inch piece of pine. For the stems, you'll need 3 3-inch pieces cut from a 7/8-inch wooden dowel. You'll need to cut an 8-inch piece from a 1x4 for the sign, and also a 21-inch piece for the stand, also cut from a 1x4. Start by adding some glue on the back of one of the 12-inch pieces that was cut from the 1x4. Place that over the center of the larger 12-inch piece of wood. Make sure the bottom and top edges are lined up. Repeat these steps with the 14-inch pieces and the 16-inch pieces, and then set those aside until the glue is dry. Next, grab your 8-inch piece of wood. Make marks in the upper left and right hand corners about 1/2 inch in, and then drill some small holes. Then sand the entire piece of wood so it's nice and smooth. Now you can paint it all white. You'll probably need to do 2 to 3 coats, and you'll want to do the front, back, and all of the sides. If you covered any of the holes with paint, use a nail or skewer to clean out the hole. Now allow the white paint plenty of time to dry. The glue on the wooden pumpkin should now be dry, so grab one of those and sand it down until it's nice and smooth. Then paint the entire pumpkin orange. Once again, you'll probably need to do 2 to 3 coats on the front and the sides. Painting the back is optional, but I like to do just one quick coat to make everything look nice and finished. Once the orange paint is dry, we're going to distress the pumpkins with some brown paint. To do this, you'll want to put a little bit of paint on your brush and then wipe most of it off. Now do quick, light, up and down strokes all over your pumpkin. There shouldn't be much paint left on your brush, just enough to make some light streaks with the paint. Once you're happy with how that looks, you can grab some sandpaper and sand the paint off the edges of the pumpkin. You can also sand over the brown paint to soften the look just a bit. Use that same brown paint to paint the stem of the pumpkin, and once that's dry, you can glue the stem into place. Paint the other two pumpkins using this technique. You'll also need to paint the stand for the sign the same dark brown. Next, we're going to dress up the top of the pumpkins. I used some burlap leaves I found from Dollar Tree. They have a wire stem that you can just twist around the stem of the pumpkin. Then just add a dab of hot glue to keep it in place. I also used the wire jute cord to make some vines. Cut a piece about 30 inches long and then use hot glue to secure the ends from unraveling. Find the center of the jute and wrap it around the pumpkin. Use a little more hot glue to hold that in place and then twist it a couple of times to keep it tight around the stem. Wrap the cord around your fingers to create a cute curly Q. Then adjust everything so it looks good and repeat with your other two pumpkins. Now we're going to assemble our sign. Place the large and medium-sized pumpkins on your work surface. Leave a gap of about 5 inches between them. Now grab the smallest pumpkin and flip it over onto the back. Add some glue on the back down the edges. Flip it back over and place it over the two larger pumpkins. Make sure the bottoms of all 3 pieces of wood are lined up. Let that glue dry completely. Next, we're going to add the vinyl lettering to the sign. Grab the white piece of wood and one of the vinyl sayings. Remove the vinyl backing and position the design on the wood. Be sure those 2 holes are at the top of your sign. Center the design and then push down on the vinyl. Rub firmly over the top of the vinyl with your scraper and then carefully pull off the transfer tape. Flip the piece of wood over and apply the other design. Cut a piece of twine about 20 inches long. Thread one end through the white sign and tie a double knot so it can't slip back through the hole. Thread the other end of the twine through the other hole, but don't tie the knot yet. Hang the sign over the stem of the middle pumpkin. Adjust the twine until you're happy with the height of the sign and then tie your double knots. Trim off any excess twine. The last thing we need to do is attach the pumpkins to the stand. Add some glue along the bottoms of all of the pumpkins and then place them on the stand. Make sure they are centered from right to left and from front to back. Wipe away any excess glue and then let the glue dry completely. And that's it. This sign is finished. Now you have a super cute pumpkin decoration for fall. And when it's Halloween time, you can flip the sign over. I also thought it looked super cute to add some spider webbing for Halloween. If you enjoyed this project and want to see more like it, be sure to subscribe and click on that notification bell so you'll get notified each time I post a new video.